We are from Group 2 and today we will be presenting research titled Factor Influencing Purchase Intention Toward Eco-Label Clothing Product Among Young Consumer in Kota Baru, Kelantan. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Nabil bin Ahmad Nazri. This study looked at what influenced young people in Kota Baru, Kelantan to buy eco-label clothing. The research focused on four main factors: environmental concern, green advertising, perceived quality and perceived value. Let's start with background of the study. Kota Baru is the capital of Kelantan, a state with strong culture and religious tradition. Most people here are Malay and Muslim. Many young people are not aware of the importance of eco-label or the negative impact of fast fashion. Eco-label clothing is becoming popular in larger cities, but in Kelantan, it remains less known and less purchased. So, this study aimed to find out what truly drives young people in Kota Baru to choose eco-label clothes and how business can encourage more sustainable fashion choice. Here are the key problems identified. Many young people in Kelantan don't buy eco-label clothes. They don't know how much about eco-label or where they help the environment. Most don't understand the harm of fast fashion. Eco-label clothes are popular in big cities but not in Kelantan. Young people usually buy cheap or well-known brand clothes. Culture and price influence what they buy. This leads to our four main research questions. What are the critical factors influencing young consumer purchase intention toward eco-label clothing product in Kelantan? Then, what is the most critical factor influencing young consumer purchase intention toward eco-label clothing in Kelantan? Third, does gender, age, or income difference young consumer purchase intention toward eco-label clothing product in Kelantan? How do environmental concern, green advertising, perceived quality and perceived value interact in shaping young consumer purchase intention toward eco-label clothing product in Kelantan? Based on this question, the research has four objectives. First, to determine the critical factor influencing young consumer purchase intention toward eco-label product in Kelantan. Then, to examine the most critical factor influencing young consumer purchase intention toward eco-label clothing in Kelantan. To identify the difference in purchase intention toward eco-label clothing product based on demographic factors such as gender, age, and income. Then to determine how environmental concern, green advertising, perceived quality, and perceived value interact in shaping young consumer purchase intention toward eco-label clothing product in Kelantan. So, I will pass to the next presenter.
My name is Muhammad Arjahan bin Muhammad Isaini. Today I want to talk about the theory. So the first theory is the theory of plant behavior, TPB. The theory of plant behavior explains that people's action depend on their intention. Intentions come from their attitude, what others think, and how much control they feel they have. This helps understand why people buy eco-label clothes or not. The second theory is Schwartz value theory. It explains basic human values that guide behavior. It groups values into four types, like caring for others or valuing tradition. These values affect choices such as buying eco-friendly product. The theory helps understand why some people prefer sustainable clothes like eco-label clothing. Now we move to the research framework. So the dependent variable is the purchase intention, while the independent variable are environmental concern, green advertising, perceived quality, and perceived value. And now we will talk about the research design. So research design is a descriptive research design, quantitative study, and data is gathered using questionnaire. So population and sample. The study focused on young consumers in Kota Baru, Kelantan, Malaysia. Age are between 18 and 30 years old, and the total respondent is 245. And for the sampling size, in accordance with Sekaran and Bugis 2016 recommendations, a sample size of 200 respondents will be the focus of this investigation in Kota Baru, Kelantan. The sample size is suitable for this kind of quantitative research. And the last one is measurement of variables. Start with section A, which is demographic. Section B, which is the first IV. Section C, the second IV. Section D, the third IV. The section E is last IV. And section F is the...
Okay, so my name is Hafizul Izwan bin Muhammad Razawi, and I will explain about the data analysis and result. So as you can see, there is three tables, which is the table of Chromebook Alpha, indicator of missing value, and duplication cases data. Okay, so for the table of Chromebook Alpha, we conducted reliability testing using Chromebook Alpha to ensure internal consistency for each construct. All constructs recorded acceptable reliability level above 0.7, which indicates that the items are used consistent and reliable. All values are above acceptable threshold 0.7, with the highest being 0.890 for purchase intention, indicating strong internal reliability. So for the indicator of missing value, only found one data was missing. And for the duplication cases table, for the duplication cases, we only found 15 duplicated cases that represent 5.7%. Okay, so for the univariate outliers detection, we use the standardized z-score method to detect unvariate outliers across all questionnaire items. No extreme univariate outliers were found since all z-score are within 3.0 threshold. This indicates the data from individual item is normally distributed and acceptable. Okay, so for the next table, multivariate identification is the process of analyzing and identifying pattern or relationship between three or more variables at the same time in dataset. So for the minimum, it shows that the 15.3600, and for the maximum, the data shows 24.6569, and the mean 21.97 97 and 67. Okay, so for the normality testing data, this slide presents the normality test result for all items used in the data. We examine the skewness and kurtosis values to determine whether the data distribution for each item is approximately normal. Since our sample size over 200, minor deviation from 0 are still acceptable. Hence, we can assume the data is reasonably normal and proceed with the parametric analysis such as regression. Okay, next, this slide presents the result from Harman one-factor test used to check for common method bias CMB. As you can see, the variance explained by the first factor is 25.967%, which is below the 50% threshold. This indicates that our data is free from common method bias, meaning the results are more likely to be accurate and not influenced by the survey design. Okay, so for the model of summary, the regression model shows that our independent variable, environmental concern, green awareness, perceived quality and perceived value together explain 44.7% of the variation in consumer purchase intention. This is considered a strong model for behavioral research. Okay, so for the next table, among the four predictors, perceived value has the strongest influence on purchase intention, followed by perceived quality and green awareness. However, the environmental concern is not a significant predictor. This suggests that while people may care about the environment, it doesn't directly drive their purchase decision as strongly as perceived value or product quality. Okay, so for the Pearson correlation analysis was conducted to determine the strength and direction of the relationship between the independent variable and purchase intention. All variable environmental concern, green advertising, perceived quality and perceived value showed a positive, significant relationship between purchase intention at 0.01 level. The highest correlation was found with personalization 0.639, indicating a strong positive relationship.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Abdul Bashir. So now I will be presenting about the discussion of findings that we collected from our research. So as you can see, we tested 4 hypotheses to understand the factors that influence the consumer's purchase intention toward the eco-label clothing. For the H1, we examine environmental concern. Both the previous studies and our findings show a significant relationship between the environmental concern and also the purchase intention. And this means that when consumers care about the environment, they are more likely to buy eco-label clothing. Therefore, H1 is accepted and significant. For the H2 is focused on the green advertising. Our research found a significant relationship between the green advertising and the consumer's intention to purchase the eco-label clothing. This also aligned with the previous studies, and H2 is also accepted and also significant. H3 and H4 both looks into perceived quality. H3 studied about the perceived quality and general, and H4 studied perceived value as the part of the quality. Both results show strong significance relationship. This means that when consumers believe eco-label clothing has good quality and value, they are more likely to purchase it. So in conclusion, all four of these hypotheses were accepted and found to be significant. That shows these factors strongly influence all the consumers to behave upon the sustainable fashion. Our study also integrates two important psychological theories, which is the first one is the theory of planned behavior and also the Schwartz value theory. So the theory of planned behavior, or we call it the TPB, helps us to understand how a consumer's attitude, the subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control that influence their decision to buy eco-label clothing. In the other words, it explains how a person's mindset and internal pressure can lead to the real purchasing action. However, by adding this Schwartz value theory, we can go deeper in this study that this theory is explained why people hold the certain attitudes in the first place based on their core human values, like they are concerning for nature and universal and also the responsibility in this world. So the togetherness, the mix of these two theories, they will give a stronger framework to understand what motivates the consumer not just today, but also in the further day, like the long term, as values will become more important in shaping the consumer behavior over time. So next we move to the practical of our findings. So in our findings, we can also draw some practical implications, especially from the strongest factor, which is environmental concern. So environmental concern, which is firstly our studies identifies the environmental concern as the most significant independent variable in the TPB, or the theory planned behavior. This will suggest that the consumer's awareness and concern about the environmental issues play an important role in their decision-making process. And therefore, the retailers and also the marketers should focus on highlighting the environmental impact in their product and also in their campaigns. And then they can also do a collaboration with the eco-conscious influencers. This is to shape the positive in social norms and also influence the consumer attitudes. So the last but not least is promoting the environmental concern can improve or increase the behavioral intention, which means it will encourage more people to buy the eco-friendly product. By doing this, it also can boost every eco product that available in the markets and will create the long-term consumer trust and also the loyalty of the brand itself. So the key points, the important is the company must integrate the environmental values into their branding and also spread the knowledge and message to effectively engage with the modern and also the eco awareness among the consumers. Let's go to the next part.
So my name is Zafri Anwar. So for the limitation, we got self-reported data, which is the researchers get the data by asking people to report their own actions, which could result in skewed information due to pressure to say what is viewed as right by society or simple mistakes made by those being asked. So for the sampling data, because of the method used, convenience sampling may produce samples that do not represent everyone in the population. Next, geographical limitation. Because the study took place only in Kota Baru, Kelantan, the data may not be applicable to other states. So that's all for the limitation. Let's move to the next, which is future research. So first one, explore the mediating role of customer engagement in the relationship between environmental concern and purchase intention for eco-label clothing. Higher engagement may amplify the impact of sustainability values on actual buying behavior. Secondly, examine the moderating effect of digital literacy on consumers' interpretation of eco-labels and sustainability information. Consumers with higher digital skills may be better equipped to assess the credibility of environmental claims, influencing their trust and purchase decision. And lastly, investigate how technological advancement, as example, AI-powered recommendation, augmented reality, so this reshape consumer expectation and satisfaction in the sustainable fashion context, potentially enhancing or hindering eco-label product adoption. So let's move to the conclusion. So for the conclusion, this study looks at what influenced young people in Kota Baru, Kelantan to buy eco-label clothing. Eco-label clothing is made in ways that are better for the environment and certified by trusted groups. Although this type of clothing is popular in many countries, it is still not well known in Kota Baru. The research focused on 4 main factors, which are environmental concern, green advertising, perceived quality, and perceived value. The goal is to understand what drives young people's purchase intention in eco-friendly fashion and to help businesses and others promote sustainable clothing. So that's all from us. Thank you.